Los Angeles, 1969. The city was restless. Poverty, police brutality, and racial injustice fueled a growing storm. In the neighborhoods where opportunity was scarce, power was taken, not given. It started with one man, Raymond Washington. Young, ambitious, and unafraid, he formed a group of street soldiers to protect his neighborhood from outsiders. They called themselves the Crips. At first, it was about unity, about standing strong against oppression, but power has a way of changing men. The Crips grew, stronger, more organized, more ruthless. What started as protection became control. Not everyone was willing to bow. A new force rose from the streets, forged in the fires of revenge. The Crips had enemies, smaller gangs that had been beaten, robbed, and killed. But instead of falling apart, these rivals came together. They wore red. They called themselves the Bloods, and they had one mission: resist the Crips at all costs. At first, it was street fights, a stabbing here, a shooting there. But as their numbers grew, so did the stakes. The city was split, blue and red, loyalty and betrayal. Neighborhoods became battlegrounds, and every corner had a price. Then came the crack epidemic. In the 1980s, a new drug flooded the streets. Cheap, addictive, deadly. Both gangs saw the opportunity. Crack meant money. Money meant power. Power meant war. The killings weren't just about colors anymore. They were about business. Millions of dollars flowed through the hands of gang leaders, but it came at a cost. Bodies in the streets, prisons overflowing, families shattered. The government responded with force. The war on drugs, the war on gangs, the war on the streets. But with every raid, every arrest, the gangs only adapted. Leaders sent orders from behind bars. Young recruits replaced the fallen, and the cycle continued. Then in 1992, something unthinkable happened. Los Angeles burned. The Rodney King riots erupted, and for the first time in decades, gang leaders saw a bigger enemy: the system itself. In the wake of the chaos, a truce was called. Crips and Bloods gathered in Watts, shaking hands instead of throwing fists. For a moment, it seemed like the war might finally end. But peace is fragile. Some saw the truce as hope. Others saw it as weakness. The rivalry never truly died. It evolved. Today, the Crips and Bloods are more than street gangs. They are empires stretching from LA to New York, from prisons to politics. Some members fight for change, working to end the violence they once lived by. Others still follow the old ways, where respect is paid in blood. And so the war continues. A war that began with two men and a dream. A war that became a legend. A war written in red and blue. Will it ever end? Or has it only just begun? The streets remember, and the cycle never stops. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want the real stories they don't want you to hear, like subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay aware, stay ready.